SandCity Sports back at you. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Yes. How we doing out there, people? How's it going out there? Yup. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, folks, as you can see to the right of me, you know what's going on right now. One chip shot for the ball game. You've been watching it. I've been watching it. You can see it right here. I couldn't get it on the other screen, so I have to, and I don't trust the play-by-play. We have to view this live. Okay, 3 seconds left. Chip shot. Washington Commanders. Hey, you saw what I saw. You saw it hit that upright. You saw it hit the upright, folks. We live, SandCity Sports right now in the building. Commanders are moving forward. You saw that bad boy hit the upright like it's right. We're gonna keep this on for a little while longer. I couldn't do the play by play. Didn't trust it. Didn't trust so we okay. Amazing. Amazing. And we know what did Pat Riley say? There's only two things in sports. There's winning and then there's misery. Yes. Woo! Tampa Bay in the moment as it's happening right now. Heart goes out. Feel for you. Great game that you played. Um, yes, the fumble and Baker, but still they came back and they got the field goal to tie the game. But turnovers that ends up being the difference in the ball game. So unbelievable. If you're this kicker, we'll talk about game of interest. Are we speaking about a game of inches? Okay. Right now, he's the toast of the town. That could have easily. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you saw it, I saw it. We got it. Okay, we got it. Two things in sports, folks. Todd Bowles. Oh my goodness. Baker Mayfield. Oh my goodness. First weekend NFL playoffs. It's just unbelievable. Okay. It's unbelievable. But hey, it is what it is. That game, I'm tuning in down the wire in the second half. It's you know what do they say? The credit belongs to the person that's in the arena, not the critic. It's not the critic that counts. The one that points out what a strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. Okay, the credit has to be Baker right now. You're feeling it. You balled out this season. You balled out this game. I'm saying that Baker Mayfield balled out. Yes, the fumble ends up putting them in position. Nonetheless, hey, Commanders, Buccaneers, you could have got to stop. You could have got to stop. They had to go the full length of the field, which they did, put themselves in position. Um, and so like they say, like I say, um, it is what it is. Uh, Credit to the Commanders moving forward to the next round, and and hey, it's a beautiful thing. Okay, folks. So yes, SandCity Sports. We just coming from the live coverage. Obviously, we're gonna go across the board. A lot of NFL action to discuss. Going to get into some NBA action as well. Have the match up tomorrow. Vikings and Rams game had to be moved, given the natural disaster that's taking place right now in California. But hey, hope everybody is doing well. Uh, Weekend coming to a conclusion. Get ready to get back into the work week and just grind and make it do what it do. Here in New England, crispy. Woo, cold. Yes. Yes, getting adjusted to this, to this winter season. I did see. I go outside. I see we had a full moon going on. We had the full moon going on, which I was like, okay, I'll take that energy and allow it to just motivate me to keep moving forward. And it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so started. We're going to stay in the NFL. Commanders moving forward could have gone either way, and it just came down at the came down to who had the ball last. So we credit the Commanders. I don't know if you're thinking what I'm thinking as well. This you want to talk about winning misery, the line in the sand. Dan Quinn, I'm not taking your field goals. Keep your field goals. We going for it on fourth down. Missed it the first time, got it the second time. Okay? I mean, you know, analytics, probability, all this other stuff, it worked. So the glasses are raised, but some serious risk taking that had to go down. And Todd Bowles, in terms of what he's done as the coach, in terms of Tampa Bay continuing to be in the mix after the Tom Brady era ends, reminds me a little bit of the Miami Heat post LeBron James. The standard is the standard. We will talk about the Steelers. All right. But hey, Tampa Bay was supposed to go all the way back down into the basement once the golden child took his talents into retirement, right? Not the case. Not the case at all. So a lot of respect, a lot of, Bruce Arians in the front office. Somebody had to lose this game. It's unfortunate, At home, Tampa Bay, silence in the crowd, all of that. But still, the organization is moving in the right direction. And I like how they have, they took that rising tide to lift all boats, which was in one Mr. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady III coming to town. All right. But they haven't floundered since he dipped. Okay. And people are getting opportunities. People have gotten opportunities. We don't call him Faker Mayfield no more. Yes. Right now, the fumble, tied for the most fumbles in the NFL. People can say whatever they don't get to this point without Baker Mayfield. You don't get to this point. And obviously, and then, this okay, it was an outstanding game all the way down to the wire. Somebody has to lose. Game of inches. As far as I'm concerned, that fumble didn't cost them the game. No, it did not. It was a mistake. It happened. They recovered. They went back down, got the field goal to tie the game, and then it's just who gets the ball last. Commanders had the best drive at the best time. Okay, third and short. They went ahead and got that first down. They could kill the clock. They executed. Did they? I mean, that kick, we're going to watch it, again and again and again. I have no problem watching that 10, 20, 30, 100 times because it's crazy. That could have easily, boing, that kick could have, boing, come right back down. You know how it hit and just cut inches. And what it could have, should have. Fits and butts with candy nuts. We'd all have a Merry Christmas. But on the Buccaneers side, the hat is tipped. To Baker, to Mike Evans, you saw the one-handed catch. And just maintaining a culture and a continuity. And, this is a team of working-class heroes. Yes. People wanted to forget about Todd Bowles and silence. We're not hearing those narratives anymore. Baker Mayfield, he had his chance in Cleveland, goes to Carolina. He's going to be out of the NFL. Right? Out there, all-pro consideration, quarterback of the future. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right? So, right now, these are moot points. If I'm in the Sunshine State, if I'm one of the people at this game, the silence, the hurt, the pain, to get that close, what do I know of that? I know if my, you be seeing a different, if that was a buzzer beater for my New York Knicks against whoever in the playoffs, it's a much different, you're going to get a much different Cape Cod kid. But I just respect where respect is due. On the other side, didn't know well, obviously I knew about Jaden Daniels because he won the Heisman, but I was Team Caleb and Team Drake. That's what that I was Team Caleb and Team Drake. We are going to talk about Mike Vrabel coming to the Patriots. I was Caleb and Drake. I didn't think too highly of Jaden Daniels, honestly. And if you follow, and I know we'll talk college, we got to talk about Notre Dame and Ohio State. Somebody's going to eat for the national championship. It's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Marcus Freeman, Ryan Day. Okay, people wanted him up. He was Ryan Day was taking them lumps against Michigan. People was talking about him being up out of there. You not anybody from Ryan Day's job? It's crickets right now. All right, so we are gonna get into college sports, and college championship. But I bring that up because I'm just being interested. I was Caleb and Drake, and Jaden Daniels, was down there and getting the stats for LSU, but not winning, or not, in the college football play. But people was telling me, Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels. People, I was getting this information, and they were right and I was wrong. And I think we need, and as he advances, almost like a CJ Stroud situation. Bryce Young, we don't hear that name. Am I wrong? That name is not ringing out. But coming into whose name was ringing out, and CJ Stroud was an afterthought. Never mind what happened down in H-Town. We will discuss. But Jaden Daniels, and then also Dan Quinn. Okay, we remember the 27-3. We remember the Patriots lead. Okay, and the Furious come. We remember those things. All right, and then he had to do his apprenticeship in Dallas, get their defense right, get them moving in the right direction. Yes, they got lit up last year against the Green Bay Packers. We haven't forgotten that. But he gets another opportunity. Folks in Washington, obviously, previous ownership, name, what it represents, those things, distant past, it seems like right now. Okay, and a team that in the NFC East was an afterthought. It was all Eagles and Cowboys, and maybe the Giants if they could get their act together, which we know they can't, and they haven't. And they're bringing everybody back, and they just they're booting 2,000-yard rushers. But shout out to the Commanders. All right, a lot of people that have been there just trusting the process. McLaurin, the wide receiver, and that all of a sudden it's just been night and day with this team, and I'm thrilled. Thrilled is a little bit of an overstatement, but I just love to see it. I feel the same way about Dan Campbell and how he's come in, to the Commanders, and really in just 1 year and turned this around. Right? This was what the expectation was for a lot of people. People might be trying to change it up right now, but a lot of we're going to talk about what happened in H-Town. But with Campbell is in Detroit. Quinn, what Dan Quinn has done with the Commanders is what a lot of folks expected Harbaugh to do. He did during the regular season. Now it came with a abrupt finish. But it's a great, you just gotta respect it. You gotta appreciate it. Let's get this up so we can check these matchups right quick. Let me just get up before you. Yes, indeed. Okay, so it's going to be no. That's not right. But it looks like the Buccaneers are going to go up against the Eagles. Let me just make sure I have that right. The game is over. Let me just get my bracket correct, people, so I can provide the information. Oh boy. See, I'm glad I double checked. I'm glad I double checked. All right. So the Commanders are now headed to Detroit Rock City. All right. Speaking of the Dan Quinn, Dan Campbell, right? This is the matchup that I wanted. This is the matchup that people, all right, two coaches on the sideline, just Peyton, we're gonna bite a kneecap. We're gonna deliver a forearm. Now again, I'm thrilled for the matchup. Made it clear as far as the NFC goes. I'm Team Eagles, based on being from the great state of New Jersey, Garden State, having family in the city of brotherly love. So NFC for me, Eagles. But then no, Dan Campbell. That's the marquee man. I need Eagles Lions. That's what I need for my NFC championship game. Okay, but nonetheless, this is can't sleep. Detroit the favorite. Detroit a team with injuries. I'm watching this Aiden Hutchinson situation. Talk about him coming back. Possibly, I would love to see it if he can do it. And not put himself in any sort of jeopardy, right? In terms of Aiden, they lose Montgomery, who powered my fantasy football team, and the ship just keeps going. It just keeps going. Obviously they have to keep the offensive coordinator, keep him out of a head coaching job, so that they can continue. It's gonna, I think he's gonna be there till they win. Johnson, offensive coordinator, is gonna be there till they win a Super Bowl. That's my prediction. I think if he was gonna bounce, he could have bounced last year. Get these names right. Messing up my names. Can't spell Detroit. We have this downtime. I got to get my names right. Ben Johnson, folks. I don't know what's wrong with me. Apologize for all of this. And it's live too, so that's another. Got to step my name up a bit more. But that's a tremendous matchup. Lions, Commanders. All right. And it looks like the Eagles. Okay, the Eagles are gonna play the winner of the Rams and the Vikings game. Okay, let me see any more takeaways beyond just 10 out of 10 in terms of viewership and suspense, delivery, so on and forth. I don't know what more to say. Live, we watched it together, upright and in, back and forth all the way throughout the game. And somebody had to lose, somebody had to win. So a tip of the hat, okay, for good and all, over to those Washington Commanders. Okay, folks. So I got to start. We're gonna go from yesterday, and we're just gonna come straight through today. So we have to look at situation Houston with the Chargers. And yeah. What the heck is Houston doing? What is going on in Houston for them to deliver this beatdown? Is my question. Because this is a team, right? They play in the AFC least, the AFC South, right? Used to be the AFC East was the AFC least. Not so much anymore with the Bills resurgent. Okay, Jets, Patriots, dumpster fires. Miami, teetering. Looks like they'll get Tyreek Hill back. But the AFC least was the East. The South, taking over that. So didn't have a lot of respect. Which that's the wrong way of saying it. That's the wrong way of saying it. Not that I didn't respect the the Texans. I did not think they were poised to win this game and make moves without their number one wide receiver in Stephon Diggs, who they lost early in the season. If they had the full complement, Collins, Diggs, Mixon, Stroud, as they did early on, then I'm putting them in the Super Bowl conversation. Super Bowl. Yeah. 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 But I put the Texans in a situation or in a category parallel to the Detroit Lions in that talented injuries, you hang in there. Different from Detroit. Detroit has the experience of being right on the doorstep last year and getting smacked in the face because people didn't want to convert on fourth down. So the Lions have that experience, and in my mind, that is the rage that has powered them throughout the season to be where they need to be. They prevented themselves from going to the Super Bowl last year. Yes, they themselves. We can talk about going for it on fourth down all you want. For me, it just came down to execution. That's what it came down to. Point, period, end of story. We would be having a very different conversation about the Commanders and the Buccaneers game had that second, fourth, and goal gone a different way. But it went the way that it went. So we're not questioning Dan Quinn right now because it went the way that it went. They took their shot. They executed. It was there. End of story. Okay? We're raising our glass. Salute. Toast to the town. Same thing last year for the Detroit Lions, as far as I'm concerned. And you got to take the point. So we're not having this conversation about, again, the Commanders. But again, back to Detroit, those plays were there. They didn't get blown up. It wasn't like Goff was under pressure and had to throw it. No, they were there. Early in the second half, those fourth down plays were there. They execute them. They move forward. They beat the 49ers. If it's in butts, candy, nuts, I got you. But I don't take away is the point. Okay, back to the Lions and the Texans. Right? Again, swashbuckling teams, but the Lions are who they are. Super Bowl contenders. I can't say favorites because of the injuries, but right there in the top 2-3 to win it all. But the Commanders, they didn't break through last year and make a ton of noise. CJ Stroud served notice, but this is the first year that this group, is all together. Diggs, Mixon, so on and forth. And they play in a weaker division. So I'm going to be honest, and I hope everybody else out there, we expect the Chargers to win this game. You have the guru coach. You have the elite, can I say elite for Herbert quarterback, even though how Harbaugh plays, you're not seeing Herbert lighting the world on fire like a Joe Burrow, like a Jolton Joe, like a Lamar, right? He's thought of in that stratosphere. He is. And things have gone sideways in Jacksonville, but just in terms of a supremely talented quarterback who, under the right leadership, will just set the stat sheet ablaze. Herbert has not done that. They've played winning football, but Harbaugh has not let Herbert cook. He hasn't. I know this. He's on my fantasy team. I know this. He's been up on the bench when he had good games. I also had Goff up on the bench when he had good games in favor of First Cousins. I didn't manage my team right. I lost a couple weeks. I lost a couple because I just couldn't. I had Herbert, who was the change was being put on his game. I had First Cousins, who was going buck wild one week and then silent the next week, and I had Goff, who I don't really expect. I don't think of Goff as in this conversation, but this year under the leadership of Ben Johnson, he's been in this conversation. Jared Goff has been elite this year. Now, who can you know what I mean? This is where the NFL any given Sunday it just because never mind we haven't even gotten the Bills Ravens. We haven't even gotten to a Super Bowl champion is going home next weekend. Haven't even gotten to that. A Super Bowl level team is going home next weekend. That's why I'm concerned about messing around, and they're going to have the same thing in the second round. In the NBA in the East, a Super Bowl, NBA champion, right now it could be the Boston Celtics, it could be the New York Knicks. And yes, the Knicks are NBA contenders for the championship, the chip, baby. I don't care how OKC in the first. We got to get the rematch up for you. My Knicks are contenders. Boston could catch that hot that L train in the second round. I said it. On the Cape, in the Commonwealth, Boston Celtics, watch yourself in the second round if they have to match up against my New York Knicks. But as, don't cry, dry your eye, you know what I mean? One of those two teams is going home, and then as it stands right now, then one of them has to go forward and play the Cavaliers, whose 12-game win streak was snapped by the Pacers. Shout out to Rick Carlisle. Much to say, as about the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. Bills, Ravens. Okay, and why it's important not to lose these regular season games. See, quietness is kept. The Chiefs are just sitting back. Chiefs are just sitting back right now, chilling. Won all those doggone close games, sitting back, chilling. Patty Mahomes could very well get a third straight Super Bowl. Shouldn't have got the first one given to him based on the horrendous pass interference call. You know it, I know it. You know it, I know it. Was not PI. I don't care. You want to talk about an all-time? You want to talk about a historic game that we just had right here on Sunday Night Football? Commanders and Buccaneers. That's going to be played on NFL films for the next half century minimum. That was an all-time game that we just had. Everybody knows it. We were deprived of that in a Super Bowl game between the Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Because of a letter of the law, and I referee, it's not the letter, because of a letter of the law penalty that deprived us of the game going to, of the players deciding a Super Bowl. Atrocious. Okay? You can make that ticky-tack, you know what I mean? Questionable not to decide on a third down. Okay? That was not significant enough for a flag in that moment to effectively end the game. Eagles can't stop it. They just have it. Chip shots. No. We remember that. That was the first. Last year, they just handled business. They flat out just handled business last year and got the job done. Close game. Niners, there, but OT, just another level. Patty Mahomes, as he's done all this year. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? He's just a good dude. He's just a good dude. He's with his people. He's with his day ones. He stays with his day ones. We didn't know who he was when he was at Texas Tech. Andy Reid knew, but we didn't know. We didn't know who this young man was. We knew about Mitch Trubisky. That's what we knew about. And Deshaun Watson. And we didn't know nothing about a Patty Mahomes. Okay? A lot of teams. Like in the NBA, they didn't know about Luka. Now they know about Luka, but they didn't know about Luka back then. All the way to the number 5. Patty Mahomes was in the, we didn't know. Reid knew. Rest is history. But I love how Patrick Mahomes, that's why he's successful, frankly. And he's going to continue to be successful. All right? You can be the prince or you can be the pauper. The prince and the pauper. Shout out to Mark Twain. The pauper and the prince. Pauper, another, it's for that's a, somebody that's fell on hard times, fell on some economic hardship. A pauper, you need charity to help you sustain. There's nothing wrong with needing charity, but that's a pauper, somebody that needs charity to help them. And we know what the crown prince is all about. Life, you have phases. Sometimes you're the prince, sometimes you're the pauper. But the successful people never forget those low down times. The successful ones never forget the low down times. That's your boy Patty Mahomes. He's with his day ones. He's under the great leadership. We can say that now. We knew a lot of Philly people. Andy Reid, always a bridesmaid, never a bride in those years in Philly. And the early years in KC, always in the mix. Andy Reid was always in the mix. And then he got the golden child. But they, And the Chiefs are just, they're not the Chiefs are not we're kind of sick of them. We're kind of sick of them. They lost a little bit of start. They don't have Tyreek. They still win without Tyreek. But doggone it, we know they got Hopkins. And that's why I want my football people. I don't know if anybody was going, I don't know. We need to get some football people into the mix on SandCity Sports. We need football people in the mix with us, on the SandCity Sports. As I check, we good across the board on the streaming. We good at Twitch. Twitch is rocking with me. Twitch is rocking with me. We good. Okay. Sunday night, we had a historic ESPN doggone it. We used to say classic. That was, even though it wasn't ESPN. But ESPN, that was a classic. That game was a classic. Okay. And now, yes, I get back and forth, but we have to return to where we began, which is the Houston Texans just beating down the Chargers, like to the ground. 6 points in the first quarter, 6 points in the fourth quarter, 4 INTs, QBR of 13. So Herbert's got to take some blame. Are we giving credit to DeMeco? Can DeMeco get some love? How about Harbaugh? What's going on? Where you at? You didn't have to go to below like Sean Payton did to take this beating. You had to go to a much softer seat in Houston. The NFL, it's, you don't know. And so Harbaugh, college is college, NFL is the NFL. He's got some, even though he's been here before, getting back in the swing of things. This is a little bit of a setback. This is a setback. DeMeco, questions, maybe not thought of on that level, getting it done without his number one wide receiver. Hey, that. So again, this, right? Again, we need to be talking. We're going to be talking. I expect to be hearing DeMeco Ryan's name going into next year, particularly with their full complement as a top coach in the AFC. We hear about the names We hear about the Harbaughs. We hear about the Sean Paytons. Okay, let's just be clear. Both of them got the brakes beaten off of them in money time this year. So I expect to be hearing DeMeco Ryan's name. Okay, the Texans are going to go forward. Okay, is it, you know what I mean? Let me get my bracket up for you. And there you go. There you go. There's the how it came full circle. I talked about Patty Mahomes. All right, I you know what I mean, and then now we full circle because that's where it's at. They're going to play the Rulers at their place with rest after they shine bright. I think they're going to be in there and they're going to battle. Do I or you? Nobody's picking them. Let's be honest. Nobody's picking them. But it's not that you lose; it's how you lose. I'm not picking them to get the brakes beat off of them. I'm not picking them to get embarrassed. I'm not picking them to crater. I'm not picking them to get that. Everybody got a plan. You got your plan. I got my plan. But what happened when that come? What happened? Right? We have our plans on a day to day. We have our plans on a week to week. We have our plans our in life. Right? What happens when lifes? How do we respond? I'm picking the Texans to respond in kind and continue to battle and show well. Again, without the number one wide receiver, I can't keep going. You know what I mean? But the Chiefs, I remember I was in college. Shout out to Nyack College in New York. Okay, no longer in existence, but a great experience. Shout out to Nyack College in Nyack, New York. It was a beautiful, wonderful experience. Okay, small Christian college. Learned a tremendous amount. Expanded my worldview. You know what I mean? Got me back. Grew up in Rockland County. I went to the youth camps over the years. Um, and it was a great experience. It was a tremendous experience. And get okay, but folks, connecting point sometimes is I remember being in college, and by the way, when I was a freshman, that was when the ether, the Nas ether, and the Jay Z woke up this morning was going on Power 94.5. Okay, it was a beautiful thing, especially coming from the Cape, being back in the tri-state area, listening to Power 94. I was like, this is what I've been needing. I needed to get back to a metro area. It was necessary for me. It was so Nas, you know what I mean? And it came out, it was released on Power 94.5. That ether, and Nas, and we would it was just into it in those days. But the connecting point to the Chiefs, folks, is this. We was talking, and I was my roommates, bunch of us, apartment style room, and one thing that they said is they were big Nas fans, and they would talk a lot about Illmatic, and one of the, we would listen to it, and can you believe it, and his ability, and you're deep into the music, and one of the things they said is he said Illmatic is a hungry man's album. That was a hungry man's album. That's what I love. It's a that he was just the artist, and then he put that masterpiece out there, and then Nas came to but there was no Nas before Illmatic. We knew Nas after Illmatic. And I came along when it was written, you know what I mean? It was written, doom, 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 da doom, 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 da doom, doom, and then If I Ruled the World. That's when I discovered Nas. I didn't know Illmatic. I didn't know that. I knew it was written. What does this have to do with the Chiefs and the Texans? Hopkins. That's a hungry man right there. Hopkins is hungry for a championship. And he's got the talent. And he's got the quarterback. So this whole, you know what I mean? I think he's going to be, and has been, and in this playoffs, Patty Mahomes, Andy Reid, I think that's going to, right? This is a little bit different than AB when he goes to Tampa Bay Lightning in the bottle for the 1 year, even though it was AB that was getting touchdown passes right in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs when it mattered most. That's how I see Hopkins. That's the full circle for you folks, right? The fake love, the fake thug, no love. You get the CB4 Augusto. You love you. I didn't know till I was broke though. Y'all freak played out. That's the connection. I think Hopkins is going to cook this playoffs. I feel it. That's a hungry man. He's hungry man on a team that remains hungry. Shout out to Andy Reid. When the Chiefs win, I love it. What does he say? I'm getting me a cheeseburger. That's what I need. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting that cheeseburger. Hopkins, right? And that's where for the Texans, it's not strength against strength. They don't have if they had Diggs, to go along with Collins, with Mixon, with CJ, then you go over there. They got Kels, they got Hopkins. Okay, the other wide receivers, Andy Reid, just the scheming everything up at Kansas City. Then we're talking about back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But Kansas City having it, Texans not. No. I'm gonna come KC. They're gonna get them by minimum of 10. It's got to be double digits. They're gonna get it by 10 at least. And Hopkins, that's mine. Yes. What's going on with Hopkins? Kansas City. DeAndre, man. I wanted to say Bernard. should know, right? Cape Cod kid artist formerly known as Andre King. I'm thinking in my head, Bernard. I'm thinking boxers. No, DeAndre Hopkins. Let me get my names right. Okay, and we have yes, we're gonna talk Vikings Ram tomorrow night, Monday night. I got a ball game, but we might have to get an episode in. You know, nighttime is the right time. But doggone it. I mean, what more could we ask for? What more could we ask for, folks, in terms of a divisional round game? We got the Ravens and we got the Bills. It's going to be in the frozen north. Big difference. All right. The Norsemen are going to be there. I got friends out here. Some of my dear friends I didn't realize were Buffalo Bills fans. That were great football players in the day. We won a state championship my senior year. I can see some of my buddies just making the trip. You have to be there. And we know how it goes down in Buffalo. They're building a brand new stadium and all the technology. But for now and below, it's the fans that get it done. I'm not going to talk about them jumping off of freaking, and busting tables. I'm not talking about that. That's crazy. And crazy. Never mind that it's cold and it's slick. I mean, crazy. The ones that I can understand is if you want to just break that table and just, I don't know, but put some pillows under the table, please. Please. Put some hay under the table, Buffalo. People in Buffalo. It's never mind. First of all, it's brick cold. That's A. Snow drifts of 10 feet normal. Like when it snows, they're going to push the snow aside, the front end loaders, 10 feet. How can you see around the corner? You can't. You can't. But I don't, and I won't even, the videos when it's just, you don't have to jump down onto the table. That's craziness. Give it the freaking upward. Go here. Just, if you have to break a table, use your elbow. Use your Macho Man Randy Savage on them. It's just too much. And then put some pillows and put something under the table so you can, soften your landing. Please. You're a working class hero. You got to be to work the next day. Goodness. But that's Bills Mafia, and that's how they get down. By the way, shout out to You Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins. Shout out to came up in Buffalo. Also, I gotta say, I hate Christian Laettner, Cooper Flagg. Speaking of Duke, 42 points Duke record. They're very dangerous. But I hate Christian Laettner. You thought he was privileged. He's from Below. He's a working class hero. You know what I mean? He's not taking no guff from nobody. Just like Bobby Hurley Jr. is from Jersey City. Don't judge because they're white and they go to Duke. Don't get it twisted. Coach K, white man at Duke. He's from Chicago. He's from the Chi. Okay, the good people on the veranda at Duke brought them in, but no silver spoons for none of them. So this Bills game, and I'm not even done talking about the fandom. Like when they do get feet of snow, the fandom themselves clean the stadium. The fans go in there. They you know what I mean? The madness with the Chiefs game. I don't know if you've ever seen this. Like the line to get into the Chiefs Stadium on a game day, they open it at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and the line is people 5, 6, 7 in the morning. That line is all the way miles down the road. From the standpoint of back to Below, love the fact the fans get in there, clean the stadium, then, obviously it's action packed. I catch, a cold, a flu just watching, you see the polar bears out there, t-shirt, and no. So they served notice. They did what they were supposed to do. Right? Put a beating on Denver, held them to 7 points for the game. Yeah. Right? Shout out to my Game of Thrones people. Ramsey, can't stand him. Ramsey Bolton. I just, it's my Game of Thrones people. Who do you Despise is the only word that I can think of. You don't want to use the type of word, but despise. Ramsey Bolton, Joffrey Lannister. Right? It's close. Ramsey, Joffrey. Despise these characters. Shout out to David Benioff. All right, co-creator, and D.B. Weiss, creators of Game of Thrones, in their new series, House of Dragons. David Benioff, if you haven't seen it, Spike Lee, Gold, 25th Hour, Ed Norton, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Barry Pepper. Put you onto some game right there. 25th Hour. Haven't seen it? Go check it out. Okay, that's a Spike Lee joint. Screenplay, David Benioff. Okay, back to Ramsey Bolton. What is this guy talking about? My Game of Thrones people, Ramsey, all right, the corrupt villain that he was. Remember the episode where he's out there with, forget the other character that he was with, and they're out there on the plains. He says, look around you. What do you see? He said, look around you. What do you see? The North. We are 7 times the size of the South, and you are its warden. Look around you. What do you see? The North. Now, I know we got Toronto, we the North. When we're on the football side, though, we on football side. So we'll get to, I'm not going to talk about Toronto because they're tanking. But we're on the football side, folks. That's why I have to favor Buffalo in this game. I have to. I have no choice. I cannot favor. I think the home field is going to be decisive. Now, you understand what that means, right? That means Lamar Jackson is not. One of these teams has to lose. You and I both thought that this game this year was going to be in Baltimore. That's what we both thought. Whoever's tuning in for this broadcast and me. You know you did. How the heck did the Bills, without Stephon Diggs, with a less is more? See, we're not. Now, Diggs was going to ball for the Texans, but we thought the Bills were going to take a step back with less talent. Okay, but less is more when you have that continuity, when you're together, when you don't have all the drama that's going on. Less drama, less talent, less drama, more wins. Am I wrong? You, me, nobody thought the Bills minus Diggs, were going to have a better season, regular, than the Ravens with Derrick Henry. But they did, and this Super Bowl matchup in the divisional round is in Below. You think the Ravens are embarrassed based on losing to Kansas City at home? The turnovers, the mistakes, so on and forth? Okay. The Bills, equally so. They have their Chiefs. Patty Mahomes going all the way down the field, scoring, throwing off their championship window. Both of these teams are as hungry as it gets, right? Illmatic, Hungry Man album. You got 2 of the hungriest teams that need a Super Bowl, right? Because we know Andy Reid and Travis Mahomes. What the heck is going on, right? These are everybody, but there's a different type of hunger when you haven't partaken of the championship fruit. That's a different type of hunger. Andy Reid, right? He had plenty of years not winning. So even though and he's a great coach, Patty Mahomes is all time, So that's the thing about, we talked about it. There's the pauper and there's the prince. The great ones never lose the pauper mentality. Never. Michael Jordan, right? Failed over and over and over again. That's why I succeed with his championships. Michael Jordan is still mad today. He's mad today with his billions and billions of dollars evaluation, with the patent leather Jordans that are still selling off the. Michael Jordan retired over a quarter century ago. People still can't get enough of the patent leather Jordans today. Still considered the greatest basketball player of all time. Today, folks, Michael Jordan is still mad. He got cut as a sophomore from the Laney High School basketball varsity team. He's still angry. Right now, in this moment, on his mega yacht. If you bring up the word Laney and you're not friends with Michael Jordan, you get thrown off the yacht. Get the heck off the yacht. Only Michael Jordan close friends can say the word Laney in his presence and still stay around him. Michael Jordan is still hot that coach cut him as a sophomore. Still. That's a part of the greatness. You never think that you all of that. You never get, you have your moments. Everybody has their moments. Okay? But then you come right back down to that foundation. All right? And you never, because that's what allows you to get there and stay there. Heck, does this have to do with the Ravens and the doggone Bills? I done told you both of these teams hungry, but the doggone them Chiefs likewise. Andy Reid, Patrick, we ain't giving we ain't giving nothing away. What did my man Alonzo Harris say? Training, there ain't nothing free in this world. Nothing, not even arrest warrants. Nothing free. Chiefs we ain't getting no free pass in no Super Bowl. It's coming through KC. You want to talk about the four falls of Buffalo? Both of y'all can be the four falls of Buffalo. Hurts me to say it, folks, but that's the reality. That's the reality of this game. Do we remember Jim Kelly? Do we remember Thurman Thomas? Do we remember Bruce Willis? Bruce Willis was the doggone actor. My names are crazy. Bruce Willis is a doggone actor. Bruce Smith, doggone it. Heck is wrong with this guy, Bruce Willis. Shout out to Bruce Willis. So he's getting up there in the years. He's having his health issues. He's hanging in there. Shout out to Demi Moore also. She won a Golden Globe. I love the Golden Globes. I'm not, where I'm so busy. Well, frankly, I am super busy. But I don't know. Whatever. Everybody's busy. But you know what I mean? To take in the cinema, you know what I mean? We're busy, but we have to do the art. We have to do the passion project. You can never get, right? You can't live in a quiet desperation, folks. We can't do it. You have to let the song out. You have to let it out. Like Thoreau said, Golden Globes is great because I'm like, man, there's so much great cinema, and I got to check this series out and these artists to give you that inspo inside of you. You know what I mean? Obviously, you have your life and your family and your faith. That those are the primary things. But art is inspiring. Art inspires us. So the Golden Globes, because I'm not, frankly, I do it to myself. I don't know how to say no. So I got to do a better job with that. And just because there's only just one me, I don't have a personal assistant. I'm not at that level as some other people have a team around them to kind of help me to do this. It's me. Am I complaining? No. What did my mentor tell me? A filmmaker is somebody who makes films, period. That's who a filmmaker is. That was helped me launch this. I had a mind to do this years ago, had no background, didn't understand any of this technology because I was impatient in high school, and I should have joined the drama club and been productive and been happy and been collaborative. I couldn't see it. I was all into sports, and when the sports didn't go right, I cratered, But there were people were still encouraging me, but I was just too much. My mentals was just too much. But looking back, I had an opportunity even in those devastating times to do the drama club, which I should have done. I should have done the drama club. But it was devastating not playing sports my junior and senior year. Devastating. Then now, interestingly enough, I spend so much time around specifically basketball refereeing. So it's kind of like, goes around, comes around. I'm able to have the hoop dreams just in terms of being around the game and refereeing, which I don't take lightly. But look, I needed to be more well-rounded than should have been in drama and just learning and embracing. Midnight. New day, folks. But SandCity Sports, we still rocking it with you. We got a couple more things we have to get to before we bounce on out of there. A few more things. Okay. And I went on that. I gotta But you know, I'm saying that, and I can make some connection points. We went back in the day and woulda, coulda, shoulda, yada. You know, next week, folks, one of the two MVP candidates, whether it be Lamar or whether it be Josh Allen, right, will now be in the same strata. Now, again, as the four falls of Buffalo, and I'm dating myself, but the Buffalo Bills, the first one was their Super Bowl against the Giants. Speaking of field goals, speaking of history being different, I was pulling for the Bills in that game. And the two New York teams. Parcells had already won his Super Bowl. Pulling for Marv Levy. And it went wide. And they arguably the better team. Next year they get back. It's Washington's year. Can't do nothing with Washington. And then Dallas once and Dallas twice. And that's a wrap. Last time the Bills were in this conversation. Early and mid-90s, folks. 30 years ago. Based on next week's game, they're right back in that conversation. They're right back in that same place. This game is momentous. Yes, I said it. Because the Bills don't get it done this year, it's only getting more difficult, folks. Chiefs and Ravens never not going anywhere. Bengals, will they get their act together and give Joel and Joe some help? Texans are going to be a force. The others, right? Steelers and all the others are going to, right? This Bills window will be the equivalent, or the Ravens. You're just going to have to bring it back again and maybe. And you're going to be one of these two teams, folks. One of these two teams is going to be, at best, like Jerry West. Shout out to Jerry West. The late, great now, Jerry West. Time goes on. We're losing our greats. Jerry West and the Bill Russells and so many. As much as we know Jerry West, the executive, he only got the one championship in 72 as a player. He only got the one. How many times did the Boston Celtics stand in his way? Bill Russell has his 11. Jerry West has his 1. So Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen is going to be in that category. Their prime years will have been swallowed up like Jonah by Patty Mahomes. Patty Mahomes is going to have 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Josh Allens and the Lamar Jacksons are going to have none or one. It's Aaron Rodgers to Tom Brady, is what I'm saying. That's what we're looking at. That's going to be the conversation, right? If Aaron Rodgers has 3 Super Bowls and Tom Brady has 4 Super Bowls, who's the greatest quarterback of all time? Peyton Manning, when Peyton Manning got his, Peyton Manning got his split, and he only has a 2 to Tom Brady's 7. But if it's 3, if you know what I mean? If Peyton has 4 and Tom has 6, right? But Tom has 7, Peyton has 2. Tom has 7, Aaron has 1. Right? That's going to be my homeboy to either Allen or Lamar. An MVP is going home. And his legacy is going home with him next week. It's crazy. And meanwhile, Kansas City, who nobody felt, and we can be honest, nobody felt or feels Kansas City's more talented than the Ravens. Hurt my eye with that stare. Nobody felt that or feels that. And please, yell at me, whatever. Um, but the Ravens put themselves now in a position. Kansas City just cruising with all those close wins to do right. Shout out to Andy Reid. Andy Reid saw this rant last summer and put together the game plan, right, to avoid, to say no, we're not having our championship window ended in the divisional round. We're getting that number one seed. We are getting that number one seed. We'll take the Texans at home. The two MVPs, good luck to you. We'll see the winner at our place next week. Right? And this is not a situation. This is not an Oregon, Ohio State situation. We've been talking. It's past midi. We making it do what it do. Okay. And shout out to the Buckeyes advancing. You know what I mean? I've talked, but we got to talk a little bit longer because we got some other things to get to. We have a couple things I need to get to. NFL, I have no problem with NFL dominating. It should dominate. But right, how Ohio State just, destroyed Oregon. And the thinking was they were going to be worn down, but Oregon just was flat with the week off. So again, Kansas City, they're not going to be flat. Should they advance to the conference finals, which stop the presses. They're going to be in rhythm, having a week off, having that first game to be able to face the winner of a team that's going to come in, having exerted everything just to get there. So you don't count your chickens till they're hatched. Nothing is for sure, right? When the Giants won the Super Bowls, beating the invincible Patriots teams, how did they do it? From the wild card, as we remember, 9-7. So it doesn't preclude anything. But again, as happy as I'll be for whoever comes out victorious in this NFL season, my heart is also going out to either Allen or Lamar that are on that Dan Marino track. That's right, the Dan Marino track. Right? Individual greatness, but not collective greatness. That's going to be the road for one of those two quarterbacks, folks. So NFL stands for not for long. NFL also not disappointing. Not disappointing in any way, shape, or form. I will get to the Eagles, right? I'm going to get to the Eagles handling business at home against the Packers. And we have the Vikings and the Rams. We will talk about those matchups moving forward. We'll get back over to the NFC, especially after we see tomorrow how things are shaping out. The AFC is right. The AFC is, you know what I mean. And I'm maybe D'Amico Ryan might have seen a little bit of this, and he might feel some disrespect on his name that I'm not giving him. But Kansas City quietness is kept. It's just laying back in the cut. Just trusting, and they're just going to be ready at their place. Game of the year is Ravens and Bills. Next week, game of the year. And then, you know what I mean? We got 3 weeks of Super Bowl. It's like the Super Bowl in 3 parts. Super Bowl starts in the division round with Ravens, Bills. Then we'll have another Super Bowl, and the winner of that versus, I'm going to say it, KC, and then we'll have the actual Super Bowl. Who represents the AFC versus them hungry Lions and them flying Eagles. It looks like a lot of great football. Okay, that's coming up. And remember, nobody shows up to see people walking around in a zebra suit. That's not what the people show up to see. People don't show up to see people walking around in a zebra suit. When we do get the Super Bowl, remember, referees. I don't care what Q rating or stay the heck out of it, please. Let the hungry Lions decide, okay, who holds sway over the Pride Lands. Referees, stay the heck out of it, please. Please. In these next 3 weeks, please stay out. Let the players decide. We don't need a ticky-tack, okay? We don't need ticky-tack deciding any of these games. Please. Please. Conference it up. Let the players decide. Because we got 3 straight weeks of Super Bowl action going on. And it's It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, we're gonna get over to the okay. We're gonna get over to the all right. We gotta get saying. Hold on. You know what I mean? Mm, mm. My Knicks gave the Bucks 140. I do want to dive deep. You know, I have to going in because we got All Star and you know what I mean. We're gonna do a quick boop boop. We're gonna do a quick, and then I got to go to college sports, and then we're gonna conclude. We're gonna wrap. We gotta go. Okay, so we're gonna in the East. Okay, we're starting to see it right. We're starting to see spread on out. All right, Cavs 6-game lead, Celtics 3-game lead over the Knicks, Knicks 4-game lead over the Pacers. Excuse me, over the Magic, who don't even have Paolo. Magic and Pacers are tied with 18 losses. So and we're starting to see how the race is going to be run. Okay, so Cleveland, like Kansas City, is making it clear they're going for the home court. All right, and they've got a lead, okay, on the home, and they're not stopping anytime soon. Celtics 2 seed, Knicks 3 seed, but that could change. They can mess around and drip. The Knicks mess around and drop down to the 4 seed. I'm trying to warn people. They don't want to listen. It is what it is. But we're not going to do too much NBA. We're going to do a little. We ain't going to do too much. Okay. And OKC, the same thing. They opened up a 6-game lead, and so OKC is learning from last year. I ain't forgot what Dallas did to them. Okay, in a winnable series. Houston, love to see it. MA, Young Lions. Memphis, again, Young Lions. Denver, holding on. Okay, and then and then Dallas, the Lakers. Lakers are kind of surprising. Shout out to JJ. JJ, um, thoughts, prayers in terms of JJ losing his house in the fire. But the Lakers are 4 games over 500 and out of the play-in. All right, and that's all right. Clippers culture, we know that. Timberwolves, Kings winning. They made a mistake with Mike Brown. Period. And the Suns round out the play-in. Warriors and San Antonio also vying. So the play-in is going to be competitive. The Western Conference is straight competitive. No, OKC is just distance themselves, and it's going to be interesting to see if Memphis Young Lions dealt with their adversity and now back healthy. Respect Ja coming back and getting not missing a beat. And keeping the foolishness aside. Bain, Jaren Jackson, others well coached. So loving what I'm seeing from Memphis and Houston. That is just closing the championship window for you know the Denvers of the world. All right, window closing. Dallas of the world. These young teams are usurping you. Um, so the top of the West is young, and we may have a young representative from the West matching up against the best of the East. I have no problem with it. Okay, this has been predominantly football, so we're gonna finish with the college football playoffs. Man, Marcus Freeman, coach of Notre Dame, and again that was an instant classic. That was an instant classic. Penn State, the intercept, but either could have won. Either could have won that game. Came down to who had the ball last. Okay, and so we have, and shout out to right first year college football playoffs. We have a number 8 seed versus a number 7 seed for the Natty. Is it a beautiful thing or is it a beautiful thing? 8 seed versus a 7 seed for the Natty. Okay, and Buckeyes need to be the favorites. They just do. Knocking off the number 1 overall seed, the margin of victory that they've had. But Notre Dame, that Penn State team was tried and true. And Notre Dame stayed in there and battled back and battled back and battled back again. So they're not going to be any pushover. I'm loving, right? What is this? The first natty for Notre Dame going back to the late 80s, early 90s. I love it. Marcus Freeman as a coach. We ain't going to throw shade on anybody, but just him as a coach. Getting his opportunity, maximizing his opportunity, bringing this fame and fortune to South Bend, which they haven't experienced, as we just said, in over 30 years. I'm loving it. Ryan Day, I'm not a huge fan of all of the complaining that I hear these top coaches with the NIL, and this boo-boo. When you're making 10, 11 millions and millions of dollars from state institutions, I don't like that. I'm not going to like it. The free market is for everybody now, so just get with it. Now, so that's on the one side. On the other side, you know, the NFL, like, you need contracts in college. College needs 2-year contracts. That's what college needs. So say that. Don't complain about the players getting their money and just put everything under the NIL banner. That's foolishness. College sports needs 2-year contracts. Say that, we're good. Don't give me the kids and I lost 8 players and coaches, you're getting all your money. You break through to the Final Four. Do you tell your agent, something? Let's just keep the deal that we have. I want to give the university some time. I know that they have a lot of, because again, this is about educating the youth of the future. So when we break through and have a great year, we're not going to go back and renegotiate immediately the next day after the season ends, whether you win the Natty or not. Matter of fact, those agents have called the universities when they get to the Final Four or achieve whatever they get to, bowl championship. The agent has already called the university, like, the price is going up. Price is going up. All right? Out there operating like Marlo Stanfield. Okay? And another thing, price of that thing going up. That's how coaches operate and have operated for decades. Or poke your lip out talking to me about, now the players are going to treat, and have the same, well, you should come back, and the culture here, and you know what I mean? Don't go get your market value. By the way, quickly, and then we're going to, another thing that needs to be straightened out is there's NIL agents in college, NIL agents, and they get 20% of the contract. What? We should be talking about agents getting 20% versus 3 to 5%, which is what they get in the pros. That's more of an issue, an injustice, than the players actually getting money and having optionality. Agent gets 20%. You kidding me? Now they say, well, a $10 million deal, but that's still, if you want to help the kid along, then you take, again, now $1 million, 3% of $1 million is different than 3 to 5% of $10 million. Okay, but still, how about 10%? How about 10%? 20%, 20 to 30. You kidding me? All right. So Ryan, they don't, you know what I mean? And the young man Smith, the young bull, the young lion, okay, from Dade County, okay, arguably best wide receiver, and we're going to be seeing him. We're going to be seeing him next Monday. But I love the wealth is being spread. That's what I like to see. All right, it's not all SEC all day, every day. The wealth is being spread in college football, and that's a beautiful thing. Thought Texas would be a little bit closer. Keep it in single digits. I'm looking for Arch Manning next year. But Texas, for me, Sarkisian, offensive guy. It's the defense. You know what I mean? I think that's Big 12, now they're SEC, but more, you got to outscore teams. If that's what you're gonna do. And we see, for me, and the football guys can turn it, but in the playoffs, ground and pound, we're gonna beat you up. So, let that be a lesson. I think, some of these teams, these finesse teams in this playoffs, we see the team, Penn State, Big Ten, you know what I mean? These Big Ten teams, just grounding and getting after them. And again, I do think NIL has lessened the power of the SEC, right? Because those SEC guys, like they're, I'm going to the highest bidder, period, end of story. Right? So the SEC, so they might start in the SEC, but that SEC talent is not all staying in the SEC. It's going everywhere. I think that's another thing that we're seeing. Clear as day. The SEC, what football means in those regions of the country. But that free market is just, you're seeing a lot of, so it's not as overwhelming. Nonetheless, Again, this is what we need 2-year contracts. Get your NIL, get your money, but, stay for that second year. That the 2-year contract has the transfer portal, right? It's more transfer portal than it is NIL. It's more, the rules for the transfer portal need to change, meaning you do need to sit out a year now. Everybody, you need to sit out. But you can train, but your NIL deal, your NIL, who's this guy, man? Why can't he talk? The NIL contracts need to be for 2 years, and the transfer portal needs to, you have to sit out a year. They need to go back to having this. You can transfer, and you'll give that second year of salary back. You can transfer, but you have to sit out a year. Okay, and that will stop the flood of transfer portal. It will stop it. People will still be in their families and transfer, but you're going to go from 95 to 15 to 10% if you have to wait the year. 2-year deal. Get your 2-year NIL. This is locked in. This is what we are going to commit to you for 2 years. You may transfer. You have to sit out. We're on track now. You still have you can transfer. Give me back my money. You don't want to be here. You take the 1 year's of salary. But you got to sit out the 1 year. Then we get college sports back in a much better place. Okay, but don't start. Don't. Just because they did, you know what I mean? They flossing. They fresh and clean. The athletes are fresh and clean, and you know what I mean. I got my because. Let's talk to LeVar Arlington. Let's talk to the athletes from years ago, right? You're on cover of Sports Illustrated. The cafeteria closed, and you're riding around campus as a future number 1 pick in the NFL, looking for somebody that loves you. That's the story LeVar Arlington told. Unbelievable. Signing hundreds of Sports Illustrated. But you gonna tell me I gotta eat with by the way, the cafeterias at these colleges. Woo! I'm finna just go back just to eat in the cafeteria. We went on a college visit for the young people to see the college. I was in the college. I was like, woo! Now your boy a little bit, I mean, I don't have the metabolism I had, but forget about it. That food good in them cafeterias. But are we kidding? Are you kidding me? Arch Manning, he has to have a Texas card to go to you know what I mean? And when the cafeteria closed, Arch Manning is going to be riding around Texas hungry. Now, of course, Popper and the Prince, that you know what I mean. You have to have your grunt, but no. They deserve, all right, to reap their market value, and that's what it was just right. Now, those experiences, nothing wrong with driving around campus and being hungry. That's what's going to make you tough and successful. Okay, but they should have. Point is, the scholarship is not reflective of their value to the institutions at all. So let the college players eat and get what they need to get. All right, folks. SandCity Sports. Glad to be back at you. My New York Knicks. Yes, indeed. We're going to talk next. Put a beating on the Milwaukee Bucks as they should. But today it's football. It's the NFL. Instant classic with the Commanders and Buccaneers. The way that it's shaping up. Game tomorrow. Vikings and Rams, neutral location because of the fires. This week we have 3 weeks of Super Bowls. We have some just unbelievable matchups. Divisional, conference finals, Super Bowl. May the best man win. Okay, you are what your record says you are, and the credit to use, that's Bill Parcells. The credit belongs to TR, Teddy Roosevelt, okay, to the man that's in the arena. And we just have, it's a beautiful thing. Take care of yourself, people. Stay safe, okay? Don't forget your passion project and doing the things that inspire as well as the things that you have to do. Host the Cape Cod Kid, artist formerly known as Andre King, and we're going to see you again the next time. Peace. Go Knicks.